Welcome to another edition of Web Chat with the Mayor. Joining me today, it's a different mayor. It's the Mayor of Tillsonburg, Stephen Molnar. How are you doing today, Stephen?
I'm doing fine, and thanks very much for having me here today, Chris.
Very happy to have you here, and wanted to chat because some important discussions going on at Tillsonburg Town Council right now. Monday night started budget deliberations, or continued budget deliberations. Can you tell us where you guys are at with these discussions?
It's been a very proactive, inclusive budget and business plan deliberation process that we're currently still going through. The process started late November of 2019. I think one of the great values of this particular approach this year was that it was the second year of this particular council. So some of the attitudes, opinions, and priorities that we had seen come up through 2019, senior leadership and the finance department were encouraged to incorporate them into the draft business plan and budget, so that we were starting from an area that highlighted community and corporate priorities right from day one.
Now, looking at the agenda, there were a number of items that were suggested that be taken out of this budget or removed from this budget or put on hold. Was there any sort of major decisions that came out of Monday that would impact the residents in terms of things that were either removed or put on hold from the budget?
I think the most important thing, we're very proud of of what senior leadership did bring to the council. We're actually under a 2% variance to the medium residential household heading into 2020. But most importantly is the business plan aspect. Our business plans and the way we're encouraged to look at them locally in the town of Tillsonburg is that's the blueprint. That's the sign-off that council through resolution will give to our corporate team on the priorities that we share with our stakeholders in support of our community strategic plan. So they're funded by our budget, but the priorities that we'll set out, and some of which were amended, as you referenced, through the meeting of January 6th, and that will be reviewed again in advance of the end of the month, is to ensure that the working documents and the priorities that support our strategic plan are highlighted, and that we have the commensurate resources to ensure that they're accomplished before the end of the year.
You mentioned that under 2% number, so is that essentially the number that would impact the taxes, impact ratepayers? Can you kind of elaborate a little bit when you say it came in at under a 2% increase?
We're currently, we separate our operational budget and our capital budget, and we've advanced, I would suggest, responsibly with a very progressive asset management plan that needs to be appropriately financed, but it's been able to demonstrate that we're investing appropriately into the infrastructure in our community, whether it's roads and bridges and sidewalks. And it's a lot of times it's things you do not see, but that are a priority to maintain a safe and accessible community. On the operating side, we have challenges relative to some of the contractual obligations, whether it's rising policing costs and other things of that nature, that we mitigate with operational savings, new symmetries on how better to do business, and offset as well by significant assessment growth in the community because of the record development we've experienced over the last 12 and 24 months.
What's the next steps in the budget process? So where do we go from here?
Well, on the 20th, there'll be it's a budget meeting. All these meetings are open and scheduled. Is primarily dedicated to our grant process, granting process, where various organizations will come and look for supporting funds from the community so they can enhance some of the quality work that they're doing in the community and the area. And then it's anticipated at this time that on the 27th of January, the Finance Department will be presenting to Council and to the community a report that will look for the adoption of our 2020 business plan and budget.
You guys are also going through some changes At the Town of Tillsonburg, we will have a new clerk, Don Wilson, retiring, I believe, at the beginning of February, and then a new CAO. So have those. When has the new CAO started, and have you guys started the process of looking for a new clerk?
Well, we're very pleased to welcome Mr. Kyle Pratt to the municipality of Tillsonburg, effective January the 13th, 2020. There are other opportunities that are available relative to retirements, including the clerk's position, as you've referenced, which will be part of the discussions really very soon. But there's in particular, the close working relationship between the clerk's department and the CAO would necessitate the CAO being on site and comfortable in advance of that process beginning.
Absolutely. That makes all the sense in the world. That was all the questions I had for you, Stephen. Anything you wanted to add?
No, I think I appreciate the opportunity. We look forward to expanding the opportunities for positive communication and dialogue, ensuring that the stakeholders in Tillsonburg and the surrounding area, we're doing as best we can for continuous improvement on a daily basis, and we look forward to progressive yet realistic approach to all the defined priorities that we'll collectively work towards in the year 2020.
Absolutely looking forward to it. Looking forward to more coverage from the town of Tillsonburg on Heart FM News. I'm Chris McMillan. I'm joined by Tillsonburg Mayor Stephen Molnar. And join us again next time for another edition of Web Chat.